Hi, everyone. Welcome back. If you were here for my maiden voyage a few weeks ago, I'm so happy that you have arrived back here at Empowering You. And if you're new to the show, I'm so glad that you found me. This show is all about you, and I'm going to bring to you some special guests this year and some really helpful information that can help in your life in these uncertain times. And today, I am so happy to share with you a very good friend of mine who I've known for a couple of decades now, Cathy Pagano. Cathy is a Jungian psychotherapist. She is she specializes in dreams, and I did a lot of dream work with her in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. She's also a certified life coach. She in self-realization. She does individual coaching and group coaching, as relationship and family coaching, and she's the author of 2 books on the divine feminine: Wisdom's Daughters: How Women Can Change the World, and The Stories of the Earth, 8 Tales of the Wheel of the Year. She is also an archetypal astrologer. And if you know me, you know I love archetypes and I love astrology. So I want to welcome to the show Cathy Pagano. Cathy, so wonderful to see you again.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so happy that you could make it. And I know you have a lot to cover because there is so much going on this year that we're actually not going to do it all today. We're going to sort of do a section, we'll say the winter section, yes, today to cover, because there's so much happening in astrology this year.
Yes.
And I don't know, are you going to start with Mars retrograde?
No, I'm going to start with something different.
Okay, great. I'm going to hand it over to you. And just because astrology has helped me so much over the years, I think this is important for viewers to get this information. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could zero in on the solar system, okay? One of the things about astrology is it's very much about how the planets interact with each other, as well as how things are here. And so as you can see, there's all these orbits, and they go around the sun, and at different times some planets move ahead, and sometimes they seem to move backwards because the Earth has passed them in their orbit. And so I just wanted you to understand that when we talk about astrology, we're talking also about cycles, not just archetypal energies, but the cycles that make up those energies. So the most important one that has been happening for a while, so we'll close that down, is the planet Pluto has moved into the sign of Aquarius. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Now, Pluto is like the big guy. He's about evolution, okay? He'll go into a sign and change everything he touches. And we haven't had Pluto in Aquarius since right around the American Revolution.
Right, right.
And a lot of people use astrology, and a lot of those people on January 6th, they were told, you are part of the American Revolution.
Oh,
okay, and that's what they thought they were doing, except this time they were fighting for the king rather than necessarily for freedom. But that's up, everybody has their own way of looking at it.
Right.
So anyway, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was in 1778 to 1798. So that's how long ago. Pluto is so far out in the universe, it takes 248 years to return. And America just had its Pluto return, its very first Pluto return, yes, in February of 2022. As a matter of fact, right on the day that Putin invaded Ukraine, which is very interesting because they are fighting for freedom.
I did not realize it was on that very day.
Isn't it? It's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Go ahead.
Isn't it true that countries who have been sort of at the top of the chain, as their Pluto return has hit them, they then lose their #1 spot and go down?
Yes, it's sort of like the overthrow of empire, you could think of.
Yeah, it happened with England, it happened with Rome.
It happens with all the countries. Because basically we've worn out our power. Pluto is about power. Okay?
Yeah.
So Pluto has been, and we'll talk about it in a minute. When the American Revolution happened, Pluto was in the sign of Capricorn, the sign of finance, corporations, government.
Right.
So Pluto was in Capricorn from 2008 to 2024.
Yes.
And Pluto, when it goes through a sign, it says, let's look at what's dead. Let's pull it up and see what you're going to do with it. So right when Pluto went into Capricorn, we had the first financial crisis.
Yes.
It showed us that our financial system wasn't working.
Right.
Unfortunately, they didn't do what was right.
Right.
Okay?
Because
they should have given all of us $50,000 of credit so we could pay off our debts and then get it to the bank, and then the banks would have the money and we would have. But they didn't, because that's the old system.
Right. So the old system, they gave it all to the big guy.
They gave it all to the big guys and none to us.
Right. Right.
So the banking crisis began it. And then since 2008, we've seen all of these other issues come up. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of them have to do with something that happened with Pluto back in the mid-60s. There was a Pluto conjunct Uranus back in 64, 65. Revolution, Uranus, and evolution, Pluto. And it's interesting that the Bob Dylan movie is out right now because that was very much about part of the times, okay? The social, how the artists interacted with the social concerns.
Right, right.
Okay?
If anybody's watching who doesn't know who Bob Dylan is, go look him up.
I know, it's really awful when we figure out how old we are,
I know.
So anyway, Pluto, because Pluto, as I said, go in cycles, Pluto went into Aquarius in January, from January 20th to September 1st. March 23rd to June 11th in 2023. It just dipped a toe in and then went back into Capricorn.
Right.
Okay, because of orbits.
Right.
Then in January 20th to September 1st in 2024, it was in Aquarius again. But it went back into Capricorn, the sign of corporations and big money, right before the election.
Yeah, and then came out the next day. Is that correct?
It came out a week after.
Oh, the week after,
okay?
yes, yeah.
And something happened, which I'll get to with Mars right before the election, that and Pluto together.
Yes.
So now Pluto has been in Aquarius. In Aquarius since I think it's November 19th, and it will be in Aquarius till March 8th, 2043. So about 20 years. We have about 20 years to get our act together. Whereas Capricorn is the sign of institutions, corporations, banks. Aquarius is the sign of we the people.
Yeah.
Okay? In America's birth chart, 4th of July, 1776, the moon, the people, was in Aquarius.
Oh.
Okay? Now, Pluto won't hit that till the late 30s, early 40s. So it will take a while for this all to change. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, the last time it was there, like I said, was in 1778 to 98. Just a few things. The end of the American Revolution and when the Constitution was written. And you can hear people in government talking about rewriting the Constitution.
Yes.
We had the French Revolution. We had the Haitian Revolution. And during those, they dismantled the old social hierarchies. Off with his head, right? The king in France. We had the beginning of the Age of Enlightenment when reason and abstraction, rationality, became the way to look at things, okay? And Aquarius is an air sign, so it is very much about thinking, okay? But higher thinking. It represents our collective consciousness. So what we think about things, our beliefs, our religious beliefs, our belief in capitalism, our belief in money, all different things, right?
Right.
Then it was also when the planet Uranus, the planet of rebellion, was discovered, and a lot of new technologies came along because Aquarius is also the sign of technology.
Right. And we're seeing how fast AI has advanced just in the last year.
That's going to be a big issue in the future that we're going to have to decide. And it's very interesting. When I get to Mars, you'll see who took over the government, right? The tech guys.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
All the tech guys are lining up behind this new incoming president.
Yes.
And so it's very interesting there. It's like, okay, we're here, we're going to take over. But it's
Right.
up to we, the people, to do something about it, right? So here we have Pluto, the archetype of transformation, evolution. In ancient times, it was the god Hades, the god of the underworld. But it wasn't about, oh, I'm in the underworld, I'm in hell. He was the god of riches, the wealth that's under the earth. Because that's where we get our gold, that's where we get our silver, that's where we get our gems.
I've never thought.
That's where we get
about it
oil
in that
from,
way.
right? So he
Yes.
was the god of the underworld, the things that are hidden. And psychologically, he's the god that can go deep into our psyches and pull up what's under there. Both our shadows, which are the things we sort of screw up with, and also our talents.
Right, right.
Okay.
And isn't it interesting now that one of the things that's becoming massive are the minerals in the ground and the
Yes.
things that we need for new technology.
For new technology.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Haiti.
Yeah. So, these are some of the things that Pluto is going to deal with. Now, the other thing with Pluto in Aquarius, if it's our collective mindset, it's going to look at all our beliefs. A lot of people no longer go to church, to synagogue, to temple. They just don't do it, right?
Right.
And so we're going to be renewing our connection to our spirituality, but hopefully in a much more freedom-oriented way, rather than, if you don't believe this, you're going to hell.
Right.
Okay, we're hopefully going to say, I want to connect to spirit because I'm much more than just my body,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes.
I am body and spirit combined. And so that's one of the things. I love Star Trek, and it's like, hopefully we would become like Captain Picard.
Yes, rather than Star Wars.
Rather than
I
Star
hope
Wars,
we become
yeah.
more like Star Trek,
Yeah.
definitely. And I too love Captain Picard. He's my favorite.
Yeah. And so we're going to also leave behind our belief that the 3D reality is the only reality.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I know that as a psychic.
Yes. But, that's part of the thing, that we have made the earth all it is our science and our religions. This is all we believe in, even though our religions say, oh, there's more.
Right.
We don't really believe that.
Yes.
Not really.
Yes.
So what we're coming to is we're going to come to a different connection to how we think about spirituality. I ran into a fascinating podcast called the Telepathy Tapes.
I've heard it, just one episode, but yes.
And it's all about autistic children who don't speak,
Yes.
but they communicate telepathically.
Yeah, well, and I think we talked about this briefly. I actually have several clients who I work with whose children are autistic, who are nonverbal, that I help the parents because I can communicate with the children.
Yeah. And they meet in the other planes and communicate there. These children, even
Yes.
if they don't know each other physically, they meet in this other realm.
Yes.
And this is a possibility for any of us. Okay?
Yes.
Any of us. And so with Pluto going through Aquarius, we'll be probably working on how do we do things with our minds that we haven't done before. And of
Right.
course that goes into the quantum field, because that's how you communicate when you understand the quantum field. So our
Yes.
science is going to change. We're going to go from Descartes, okay, and
Yes.
also I think, therefore I am, and also Newton,
Yes.
only gravity. We're going to go into a different type of physical understanding of what the physical universe is.
I just saw something about that and this math equation that was just solved that takes us above Descartes and as I think it and what we've known. So that's very interesting that you bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very exciting. A lot of the trouble we're in right now is our old system is breaking up.
Yes.
Okay? And people are afraid. But out of chaos comes a new form. If you just patch the old form, it stays the same.
Yeah, it's like in New England, patching a road when you get a pothole.
Right.
The patch wears off and
Right.
the road
and
is
the hole
worse.
is still there, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have to stop being afraid of is the chaos.
Yes.
If you can ground yourself
Yeah.
and stay true to yourself, the chaos around you will kind of almost be attracted to you, and you will begin to form, okay, these islands of calm and centeredness
Yes.
that we talk about, let your light shine out.
Right.
This will happen,
Right.
okay?
It's like the Hermit card in the Tarot.
Yeah.
You just stand there and shine the light.
Yeah. So our social norms and ideologies will radically change. Okay, we're going to hopefully, finally, deal with climate change. Okay, especially after the fires.
Yeah, terrible.
You know, everybody's pointing fingers, but the real reason there are fires is because of climate change.
Right. And
I mean, there's always fires, but the bigness of them is because California is a desert and a plain, and of course it's going to burn at certain points, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And their climate has changed where this is their wet season, but they've had no
They're not
rain
having it.
whatsoever. And just for, a quick second, I want to just say that our hearts really go out to everybody who's been affected by climate events, and especially the ongoing fires in California, and also Utah is having fires as well.
And all over the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
this is happening all over the world.
Yes.
But now we are seeing it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's hitting us closely, and it's time. I always say we were asked to sacrifice for war, but no leader has asked us to sacrifice for life.
Oh, that's really a good, important
Right?
thing to think about.
The old presidents and leaders would say, we're going to war, you have to, don't eat so much, don't use this, go to work in the
Right.
factories. But no one has said that to us, and everybody's doing it separately. But one of the big things about Aquarius is it's about the group. I like to call it the round table, King Arthur and the round table.
I love that.
The table where everyone is equal, but we each give what we know. So to work with Pluto and Aquarius, you have to stay present and heart-centered, okay? Because we're going to have rebellion and delusional, conspiracy theories and idealistic fervor, and that's going to just be crazy. So we want to be rooted and grounded to know our true tribe. So first of all, find your tribe, find your network. And then the second thing is we have to go out into our communities.
Yes.
It's time that we said, you know what, I need to go to the town council and work with the town council, or I need to do some art for the community.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to understand Aquarius is the community. We have kind of entered the age of Aquarius. Of course, as astronomically, it might not be for another 100 years. But another thing that happened with Aquarius in 2020 on winter solstice,
Yes.
the two planets that rule our sort of social energy, Saturn, the planet of limitation and structure and responsibility, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion and seeing the big picture. So expansion and contraction,
Yes.
okay? For the last 200 years, they've come together every 20 years in Earth signs. And so we have become more materialistic.
Yes.
But for the first time in 800 years, they are together in an air sign, in Aquarius, right? At the very beginning of Aquarius. And so for the next 200 years, everything that our society has to do with is going to be about ideas, sharing ideas, communicating, learning, okay? That's going to be the thing that not just makes money, but that will save us, if you will.
Right, and the community part.
And the community part.
Because we can't survive on this earth alone.
No.
We need each other to
We
survive.
need the animals, we need the trees, we need the mycelium, we need to come back. I always say it's time that we reconnected with Mother Earth's biosphere. In the
Yes.
Bible, okay, it says we are the stewards of the earth. Well, we haven't done a very good job.
No, we have not. We have not.
And we need to begin to do it, and that's the regenerative farming that we're seeing happening. Because otherwise, all of the bird flus and all of the things that are happening with the animals is because we don't grow our food in the right way.
Right, and the big commercial farming where you have these.
They get them sick,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so it's about expansion and contraction, and we're sort of in that energy.
Yeah.
The other thing is practice common sense, okay?
My uncle used to have a good saying. He'd say, "Common sense is variable.
Yeah.
Some people have it, and some people don't."
stay grounded in your body. Do what Jungians call shadow work. The shadow isn't evil. The shadow develops in us when we're young, and our parents go, don't do that, so we lie. Okay, and then as you grow up, you still lie because you don't want people to know what you're doing, or you think you're going to get in trouble. Right. And it twists us. And so the shadow work that we need to do is, how do we find our authentic selves?
Yes.
Right? In our culture, women have had to hide. Okay, hide who we are, our beauty, our body, our intelligence, our emotional intelligence. Back in 1900, women were put in crazy houses, okay, in asylums because we were emotional.
Yes,
right.
Yes. And there's something right now I just saw this week, a senator has placed before Congress that leggings will not be allowed for women to wear in public. Leggings. So these are the kind of things that are going on that we're not seeing on NBC or CBS or whatever, you know, on the main news stations.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing, I think. And how do you feel about this?
Well, that's the other thing. What's going to happen is when the old system has to die, I call it patriarchy, the rule of the fathers, the rule of the men, and that isn't equal to the women, okay? The women serve the men. It's dying, but it doesn't want to die. So it's coming back and trying to grab power.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks when Saturn swallowed his children because he didn't want them to have power until Zeus and his mother Rhea figured it out and overthrew him.
Yeah.
It's about letting the young people, this is their world, and old people are in Congress.
Yes.
In our Congress, old people that are in memory, institutions because they don't even go. They don't even show up.
Missed over 200 votes because they weren't even there for 5 months before somebody thought to go look for them.
We need the young people to step forward. This is their world, and we have done a bad job of taking care of it for them.
We have.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are some of the things we have to. We have to realize our imagination creates reality. Right?
Yes.
And that is a big thing with me.
Yeah.
We have been told our imagination is for the nursery. And once you're out of that, stop daydreaming, stop using your imagination. But Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yes. Think if we didn't have Einstein or Thomas Edison or these brilliant inventors, where will we be?
Right.
It's because
of
their imagination.
And the language of the imagination is your dreams, your visions, going within, okay, listening to your emotional intelligence. Jung says that first an emotion comes up and then an image comes for it. So when we see it, it's like that I can't think of the movie, so I won't even say it, but it's like an energy that takes on a face. Right?
Yes.
So the imagination is what helps us do that. And it's called the creative imagination because that's where things are created. Think of the quantum field.
Yep.
Light is waves and particles. If you put an intention out into the quantum field, the energy hits it and becomes a particle.
Yes.
The waves hit it.
Yes.
And the more that you can keep that steady, the more something builds up and it manifests. But most of us go, oh, I want this. And then they go, oh, no, I don't want it.
Right.
Oh, I want that. Oh, no, I can't.
Or it hasn't happened yet.
Or this isn't going to happen. And so it's like the poor quantum field. All the little
right.
things are going to go, what do you want?
Right. And it's important, too, when we are wanting something that we don't feel the lack of it, because then you're actually putting that out to the universe that I want it, but I don't have it. That doesn't manifest.
I know. Or it manifests in the wrong way. My parents moved to Las Vegas, and when my dad died, I ended up going there. But I thought, why are you living there? I would never live in Las Vegas. And the universe kept hearing me say, live in Las Vegas. And I ended up being sent there.
I remember that. I remember that. We have got like 4 minutes left.
Okay.
What important points
so
do we need?
Quickly, Mars is retrograde right now in the sign of Cancer, and it was opposite Pluto 2 days before the American Revolution. Mars in Cancer is home. Okay, Capricorn, Pluto was in Capricorn at that moment, and it's like government. What can government do to make me secure? Then and then it hit it again on the 3rd of January, and their fires came up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Mars is fiery.
Yes.
Okay. And then it won't happen. The third one is in late April. So these energies, it's like rhythms. It's like the sea going in and out. So what we want to do is we want to spend time in this next month, a few months, thinking about what does our soul need? What's the most important thing? What really keeps us secure? Is it money? Because money is not very secure. It's fake. It's not even real.
Yeah.
Okay. At the moment, they have Bitcoin. That's not even real. Okay.
Right. It's a
and
computer.
They keep printing paper money, and it's like, okay, is it real?
Yeah.
So those things that patriarchy that our culture has told us is important really isn't anymore. And it's up to each of us to say what's important: loving kindness, community.
Yes.
Finding my creative spirit.
Yeah, and that goes to the card that I just pulled with the question about what does the soul want to do with this Mars, and it's co-create and protection. And so what this means is we have to turn this around and co-create. So we have to work with other people. We have to come into union and do things together to make this work, right? And with spirit.
Co-create with spirit.
With spirit. Yeah, absolutely.
Because spirit is mystery, and we have gotten rid of mystery. So I think magic's going to come back.
I think so.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's the last point.
Yeah.
Just quickly, eclipses occur when 3 planes come together: the sun, the moon, and the earth. And there are 2 points in space. And eclipses occur there, right? And so they're called the lunar nodes. And for the last 18 months, they've been in Aries and Libra, all about self and other. Don't get lost in other. Be authentic. Come back into relationship so it's equal.
Right.
Now it's moving into Pisces and Virgo. And it's all about, can we use our imagination to create daily rituals in which we finally, like the Native Americans, see that each part of life is spiritual.
Yes.
That it's all sacred. We have to learn to live in a sacred manner, especially now, because the world is crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And the only way we can find out what truth is, all of this fake news and all of that, we could go on for hours talking about this. We could. It's because people are lost and they don't know what's real and what's true. And the only way to find that out is if you go into your soul.
Yes, yes, so. Beautiful, beautiful. Cathy, I want to thank you so much. I know we could go on and on for probably a week and not really scratch the surface.
I will say one more thing. This year is very much the beginning of very new energy coming in, but it's coming in and then it's going out. But this hasn't happened in over 3,000 years.
Yes.
What's going to happen. Yeah. So by 2026, very new energy is going to be here. Yeah. So this year is preparation. If you've ever had a baby, it's sort of like transition. It's going to be hard. Okay. Yeah. That very last bit of labor, okay, before the baby pops out, okay? But it's all about begin to imagine what you want the world to look like.
Yes, yes, yes. The outside world, but also it has to come from your inner world before you know what you want to create on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge piece. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad that you could make it. And I'd love to do this on sort of a more regular basis because there's such chaos and people are going to need support. And I think this is so helpful. I know it's helped me tremendously over the years.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Cathy. And thank you all for tuning in. I'm really excited to bring this this show to you. And I hope that you will share this with your friends if you like it. It'll be on YouTube, also the Cox channel and my own YouTube channel. And thank you to the crew. We couldn't do this without you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much.